why are you so upset about the halting of the Superferry?
Well, the Superferry is a very viable source for income for outer islands, for tourism, first of all, and it's an asset to our outer island to visit other islands with their own stuff.
So what do you do for a living? How you do?
I'm a professional musician, and we travel to outer islands frequently, and flying a lot of equipment can be very costly, and be able to take your equipment to other islands is a very cheap and effective way for a local to travel.
So are you upset? You are upset about the halting of Superferry, and if they do end up continuing their operations, will you and your band be utilizing them?
Well, people that are halting the operations have no scientific basis for their stopping it, and the ecological standpoint of the boats and the cars will not affect the islands in any way.
So why would you utilize the Superferry? For what purpose?
I get family in Hawaii, so like I go up there like almost every month pretty much, and like every time I go up it's like family reunion, so that's a pretty big thing for me, and like that's why I like go up. And if they take that away, then I gotta fly all the time, and it's not, sick of flying.
And you and your family go camping a lot, so would it be easier for you to bring all your camping gear with you on the Superferry versus putting it on a plane?
Yeah, and then like I could just take my car up there, so like then I could get all my gear in my car, so I don't have to like check it in all the time, and like you gotta worry about losing your stuff on an airplane and stuff, then you gotta wait, have the baggage claim, and that's a hassle pretty much.
Awesome, thanks Nick.
Yeah.
This happened at the airport, it would never be allowed to happen. I mean, if you're on the runway trying to stop the plane, you'd be arrested, right?
Definitely.
But this went on, and yeah, we're surprised. But I think it's good to have choices.
Right.
So, and the environment is important, so I believe you should check everything out. But
have you lived here for a long time?
I'm born and raised here.
Born and raised, and
yeah,
I know that, I'm born and raised here as well. Do you feel like the Superferry has been a long awaited thing for many years? And
well, it reminds me, we used to have sea flight, and I remember riding that. It didn't take your automobiles, but it took passengers from island to island. I don't know what happened to it, but that was a nice option to those that didn't like to fly.
Right.
And it was a little longer way of traveling, so it was more scenic.
Right.
That was nice. And so this reminds me of that.
Yeah. So you do support the Superferry, and if their operations were to go back into effect, do you think that you'd utilize it?
Yes, with a seasick patch.
Okay.
Because I read the article about those that got sick. I'm like, maybe we won't get on right away, but
ginger is really good for seasickness. Yeah, you got to take fresh ginger.
But it would be nice to try something different.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. How do you feel about the recent news that the Superferry's operations have stopped?
Well, me and my family are kind of bummed about it. My mom, she's handicapped, and it's hard for her to. She has a pet. It's kind of a working dog pet, and we can't fly with her. So if the ferry had come, she could have taken the dog with her on the ferry, and it would have been a lot easier for her. So now she's kind of bummed that she has to leave her working dog at home.
Oh, right. And how much does she rely on her working dog while she's?
It's her companion.
Right.
She doesn't have a boyfriend or a husband or anything, and it lifts her spirits up.
So if they do end up continuing the operations, do you think that your family will utilize the Superferry in the future?
Oh, definitely. She'll probably go over to the Big Island a lot more, and take her companion, working dog.
Right on. Thank you so much, Sarah. So you heard about the stoppage of the Superferry, and how do you feel about it?
I think it's ridiculous. People fly over to the outer islands on airplanes. I don't see what the difference is going on a boat or going on an airplane. I think it's really sad that people are actually hopping on other people's cars, trying to pull out air from tires, stopping the boat from actually docking. I think there's a lot of people that are actually overreacting, because we had airplanes go to the island for how many years, forever, and I don't see what the difference a boat would be.
Right.
I think a lot of people are just overreacting.
You're born and raised here, lived here your whole life. So the Superferry has been a means of transportation that's been talked about for a long time. Have you kind of made plans around it, or were thinking about using the Superferry?
I wanted to try it.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. So if they do continue the operations, do you think that you'll jump on the boat and?
I think eventually I will.
Yeah.
But it's like safety factors right right now too. There's some crazy people on the other side of the island trying to stop the boat from docking, and they're hopping on cars. So it's like, I think it's ridiculous.
Environmentalists' main concern for the Superferry is the environmental impact, but the reality is that the carbon footprint left behind by this project will not be increased because all the cars are in states. We won't be adding any more cars to the state. And since tourism is the #1 viable source of income to smaller islands, and they always complain about people coming to their island, so at least it's local tourism instead of other people, so that won't be a problem. And the infrastructure to implement this project has already been in place since World War II with all the harbors, so no major reef construction or damage will be necessary to follow this project.
When we party island style, we respect one another.